Well, hello there. Good morning, YouTube. You're on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun speaking. See, I have the hat. It's official. Good morning, lifeboat. How you guys doing? Body illusion, Candy's life. I live for now. Robin Miners, Shelly Kelly. Good to see you guys. Kevin Hawthorne. Hello, hello. Well, it's just us today, guys. Oh, just kidding. Jane Aldrich, Encarnasoul, Tina Marie, Roberta. Glad you guys decided to join me this morning at this later hour. Dirty Mouse, hello, hello. Yeah, one of the things I like to say is shoulda, coulda, woulda ain't happening. And the reason I say that is because, in my experience, if I'm saying should, could, or would, I'm talking about something that I imagine doing, but I'm not going to do it. And it's not because I don't want to do it, or it's just not going to happen, though. If I'm using that language, should, could, would, I'm probably in a position where I'm not going to be doing these things. What do these words actually even mean? Who invented these crappy words? I tell you what, they're not very helpful to me. In fact, they allow me to procrastinate. Because when you say I should do this, I could do this, or I would have done that, it feels kind of good. It feels good to say that. But what you're actually saying is that I didn't do that, or yeah, you're saying I didn't do that. I could have done that. No, no, no. I didn't do that. I should do this. I'm probably not going to do this. That's what that means. So, that being said, we should strive to remove these words from our vocabulary, especially when it involves action. Like as a verb, I don't think that we should be using these words. I'm either going to do it or I'm going to not. What does Yoda say? There is no try, there is only do. And that's what today's show is going to be about. The shoulda, coulda, woulda. And how useless it is. With all of the action words that we could possibly use. I mean, I guess these aren't verbs, right? But instead, let's use a verb, right? Instead, let's say I'm going to do. Instead, let's just do. Instead, let's just get up and get after it. Brianna Miller, what's going on? Yes, yes, yes. This is my hodgepodge schmodgepodge robe, and it was a little chilly in here this morning. The white T-shirt was not enough, so this was draped on my chair. Figured I'd put it on. It actually was altered for my pleasure. It has a hood, but it's not useful right now. Blessed to crochet. Good to see ya. It's got like little frizzles and stuff on the bottom too. It's kind of fancy. It's kind of fancy. Intend to, meant to, didn't. That's me way too often. And even those words are better than shoulda, coulda, woulda. Those words actually explain like the truth, right? They're not hiding what happened. And I'm not saying that the should, could, and would words, like I'm not saying people are trying to hide things by using them. I'm just saying that they are covering up what actually is happening, you know? Because the point isn't that I could have done something. The point is that I didn't do something. The point is that I chose to do something else instead. That makes sense. I mean, I know that makes sense. I am doing okay in my tea, Roberta. I appreciate you very much. I had a cup last night, actually. It's a way to water it down for politeness, says Mocked. Mocked, good to see you. And I'm not really this whole concept of watering things down for politeness. I think that is booty. I think that's terrible. I think that people should learn how to communicate with each other. And if something that somebody said offends you, maybe it's offensive, right? But also maybe you might just need a little bit thicker skin. Because if we water everything down, then nothing we have is going to be great. Everything we have is going to be watered down. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? I hate this whole concept if it's a way to water things down for politeness. Politeness. Like, I enjoy being polite. I like people to be nice to me. But if the message is harsh, the message is harsh. You know what I mean? If what I have to say is not easy to hear, I shouldn't be watering it down. I should just be trying to deliver it gently or something, you know? But the information is important, and watering it down is not good, in my opinion. In my opinion, and that may be an unpopular opinion. In fact, this is a recurring theme in my life. I'm not polite. I come across rude, and I may, that may be the case. But I'm not perfect. I'm working on it, and some people don't have very thick skins, I think. How do you deliver a tough message politely, right? You don't. Lester Crochet says we need to learn to appreciate our differences and respect them, and still, at the end of the day, love the person and be friends. Absolutely. We don't have to agree. Like, again, we're all unique, infinitely different, um, but blessedly unique. Oh, you're having some allergies this morning, Roberta. I'm sorry to hear that. Mock says, "Hey, I'm German. We're blunt and direct unless we speak to children. Removes the unnecessary sensitivities." Well, I must be part German or something because I definitely relate with that. I can definitely get behind that. There's no need to beat around the bush when you could just walk right through it. Good morning, Helena. Good to see you. No, I'm the one that's late. I didn't even hear my alarm go off this morning, guys. If I had a boss, he would be mad. Lurking while washing dishes. I did all the dishes yesterday. I scrubbed the bathtub. Um, Place is feeling very good this morning when I woke up, which surprises me. I don't know why I didn't hear my alarm when it was such a good morning. All right, shoulda, coulda, woulda. What can we say instead? What can we do as an alternative? Well, the best thing would be to get up and go do it, right? Whatever we're talking about. If it's we're talking future tense, like I should do this, I could do this. I guess would all of those words can be used talking about the future, depending on exactly how they're used. But that being said, instead, why don't we just do the thing? Or um, even another step past that, when you find yourself shoulda, coulda, woulda-ing, why don't you ask yourself, why am I shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Why am I saying should, could, or would? Do I not actually want to do this thing? The answer is probably yes. Well, how important is this thing? Should I just get it done? Yes. The answer is probably yes. Um, yeah, I think action. But if whatever the action is a little bit beyond reach, is there a middle ground? Is there something else that we can do? If we're not ready to take the action, I think that observing that we're not ready necessarily to do so, and then remembering that, right? And then moving forward, not beating ourselves up for not doing, we can shoulda, coulda, woulda this time kind of thing, right? But remember that. Take note. Observe, right? Why am I not ready to do this? How can I become ready to do this next time this comes about, right? Because we definitely don't want to run into situations that we have to turn away and walk away from. Obviously, we can't eliminate every curveball the universe is going to throw at us, that the life is going to throw at us. Um, but if we can become adept at uh, responding to stimulus, if we can become adept at, what's the word I'm looking for, adapting, then there's a whole lot less that can stop us in our tracks. I think as addicts, um, there's a lot of things like we're very particular. You know what I mean? Like I probably don't want to go to a bar because it's not the most fun place for me to go. I will go. I'm safe there. I figured it out, right, or whatever. But that's a complicated deal. Like I don't necessarily want to do that. Can't remember why I'm saying that. We were talking about observing, right? So maybe I'm not ready to go to the bar, right? Maybe my friends want to go do karaoke or something, and I'm not ready to go do that because I just quit drinking, right? Obviously, why would I want to go to the bar and do karaoke? Well, so I'm going to observe like, okay, well, in this particular situation, there's really no reason to go to the bar. Like, I do want to hang out with my friends, but there's a million things that we can do that's not that. So if this is the situation where I'm shoulda, coulda, wouldaing, I observe. I don't want to go to the bar. I should, I could, I would. That's what I'm telling my friends, right? Um, but then I don't go. And this isn't something that I probably need to do. But it on in a juxtaposition, maybe what you shoulda, coulda, wouldaing is like your homework or um, dishes, right? Or taking out the trash, or helping your son or your daughter with something important to them. Um, and you're shoulda, coulda, wouldaing about something that is very important. Well, in that situation, most likely need to just do the thing, right? But again, what if we're not ready? Well, observe. We're not ready, right? Why are we not ready? Why do we not want to do this? Well, there was this one person last time at my boys' baseball game, and this other dad, and we got into it. I don't know. I'm not a dad. I'm just, trying to spitball here. But that being said, um, there may be a shoulda, coulda, woulda that deserves some conquering, right? And that's what I'm trying to illustrate here. And if that's the case, and you can't take the action right now, well, prepare yourself for the next interaction with this shoulda, coulda, would, so that you don't have to walk away, so that you don't have to turn around, so that you don't have to be in action. Just throw the dishes away, says Brianna Miller. I have done this before. When I was still using the cleanliness of my place wasn't like the biggest priority, right? So I would have I didn't have a dishwasher. Everything was done by hand in that tiny kitchen, and I would leave the crock pot out sometimes or whatever, like with the lid on, but I wouldn't clean it. I would just put it off for way too long. I threw one away. I threw some Tupperwares away too. I was like, I'm not even going to open that. I'm just going to take it right outside. I wish I had those dishes, though, I have to say. Or leaving a bad relationship. This is a great example, Dirty Mouse. Thank you for that. Of one that maybe I need to come back to, right? I should, could, would leave this relationship. That's definitely one of those things that might take some time, some planning. Maybe it's a process. But this is definitely something I was shoulda, coulda, wouldaing about leaving Lucy for a long time. My dad had to kick me in the pants. So in short, shoulda, coulda, woulda is literally just procrastinating, just putting off, just words of inaction, words of inability, really. Um, and they are fun to say. They are very fun to say. It kind of feels like I'm absolving myself of sins. It kind of feels like, oh, I don't have to worry about that because I should, because I coulda. Maybe that's just how I think about it, but it is definitely not productive. Scooby Lee says, oh God, not relationships. Yep, those pesky boogers. Good to see you, Scoob. Glad you're here. Brianna Miller says, for me, shoulda, coulda, woulda comes from a place of guilt. I'm working on it, but those stupid shoulda, coulda, wouldas will probably haunt me for the rest of my life. Oh no, we can't have that. I'm going to read that again for my own understanding. Mm. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Brianna, you can't change the past. It's already done. Um, I'm definitely someone that has spent a lot of time observing the past and feeling some type of way about it. Um, and I want you to know what's really important and what really matters is right in front of your nose and not over your shoulder. I promise. Regardless of what it is, and it sounds like it's impactful. It sounds like it's an important piece of your life, or at least an important event. But I would do everything within my power to let that go because you can't affect it now. It's over skis. No matter the depth or magnitude of the event, it cannot be changed. So, and I don't know, that's not the most happy thing to hear. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's the truth, though, and I don't want you to suffer unnecessarily if you don't have to. Rick Spicer, what's going on, brother? Sarah Browett, hello, hello. Always a pleasure. Clarification: I hold a lot of guilt after my brother died. For some reason, I felt like that I knew that somehow. I just wish I was better. I wish I was there for him more. You know, I can relate with that. I can relate with that. I think it's important to keep this emotion observed, especially with like grief and loss. They're very, very, very powerful emotions, and they often act unpredictably as well. So, uh, I love you, Brianna. I'm sorry. Let's put some ones up for anyone out there that needs them today. An error occurred. It's usually temporary. Okay, we're gonna try it over here. Sarah Brout says an alternative can be I feel to blank. It's taking ownership rather than hypothetical or guilt pressure words like should, could, would. Absolutely. I think this is a great alternative. The wording is important. The words that you speak are part of the reality that you create. So I always try to choose my words very carefully, especially since I used to be known as the loose lips sink ships guy. You know. Good morning, Cat's Eye. Casey, pardon me. Good morning, Casey. I don't know where I got that tea from. Morning all. Guilt is one of the most powerful ants that occupies our minds. Absolutely. As long as the shame is not, or as long as it's not shame, as long we can deal with guilt. Shame is something we must annihilate because we're not bad people. We just may have made some mistakes, right? The difference between shame and guilt is shame says I'm a bad person for doing this thing. Guilt says I feel bad for doing this thing. Now, very, very, very different, distinct difference. Very important to distinguish between the two. Deaudrey says, most times when I think I should have done, I'm letting emotions get the better of my reasoning. I think this is a good point. Letting emotions get the better of my reasoning. Did you guys know that it's impossible to be logical and emotional at the same time? It's like a left brain, right brain thing. For some reason, we can only travel along one thought process road at a time. One of them's logic and one of them's emotion. So if we're, for example, having a row with our significant other, we're probably not going to be capable of much logic until we calm down, until we simmer down, as opposed to um, kind. It's kind of hard to switch that one around, isn't it? I was going to say it's kind of hard to be emotional when you're doing a math test, but that's stupid. I mean, I get emotional doing math tests. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, some what's the word? Reputation or yeah, some reputations die hard. Your reputation precedes you, Scooby Lee. I I for one hope that we can all rise above our stigmas. Hey, Nicola, having a very late lunch and catching some boat. Sweet deal. I'm glad you're here. Flick Fox, what's going on? My 20s were stolen from me. I would ruminate a lot about it, but not long ago realized the shoulda, coulda, wouldas of the past are totally pointless and only hold me back. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad that you've liberated yourself from these words. I also spent quite a bit of time in my 20s doing the exact same thing. Um, Definitely some parallels going on. Me Saw Smokes, good to see you. Good to see you. That's why the rear view mirror is small and the windshield is big. Thanks for that, Mary. Thanks for that. Yeah, the rear view is tiny. In fact, when I'm in the car, there's not a whole lot of reason to look in the rear view unless I'm trying to stress myself out. You know what I mean? There's really nothing going on back there that's important, even in the car. Uh-oh. There's not a whole lot more to say about shoulda, coulda, woulda, guys. It's pretty straightforward. Maybe we should do a double feature and talk about something else as well. Do you guys have any questions for me? I don't open it up for questions very often, although questions happen organically, but we could do that while I consider other things that are important. Um, Also, we can talk about, so on Friday, I'm going to a dentist appointment. So most likely we will get the Admiral in the morning. Um, and I'm just getting cavities worked on. So my recovery shouldn't be like I should only have to take the morning off. I should be able to come back either that evening or the next day. So that's going to happen. I feel like there's something else going on. Dale Cox, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Feel like there's something else going on. I need to hit the mail place again. My aunt had surgery, so waiting. I'm wishing her well, hoping that she heals up properly and whatnot. And I haven't been bugging her about the mail because of that. But I am probably going to give her a call tomorrow, I think. But yeah, today's quite the day. Today we're gonna, now that the kitchen's clean and the bathroom's clean, now we're gonna fill them with products. I'm gonna go to the grocery store most likely. Spanks, if you were not doing this, what would you want to be doing? Well, I mean, if we're talking about dreams, I mean, whether they're attainable or not, I would love to be a rock star. I would like to travel the world and play music. But realistically, I most likely would be a stagehand. Um, if I could find another way to apply myself in public speaking, I definitely would probably do that as well. Now that I've discovered this, I probably would keep doing it unless there was something about the nature of the work that bothered me. Um, I don't know if doing this in a more traditional public speaking sense would be for me or not, but um, I would be willing to find out. Where's the leaf blower guy? We miss him. Yeah, I don't miss him. I hope that he stays away. Yet my mocked my these three right here. I don't really show them very often because they're all busted up. And I have an actual broken tooth right here. So that one, and then these two. I think this one. This one's really important because there's a hole in it already. Spanks, pardon me, Dale, Tommy, and Johnny have not got their tinctures yet. Johnny's out of town, and so is my dad. But the Admiral will be coming back. I'm not entirely sure when, but most likely this month, I would imagine, because pretty sure we have made that plan. I'm pretty sure he told me I'm going to come back before this time. And I can't remember exactly what that time was that he mentioned. Oh, Nicola, thanks for saying that. Nicola says I'm a rock star to y'all. That makes me happy. I hope so. I hope so. Mara says, follow your dreams. You only get one life, Spanks. I promise. I absolutely promise. This is a part of that dream. This is a huge part of that dream. This is going to take me to the places that I want to go, and I'm going to take the lifeboat to places that it should go. It's going to be great. We are sailing. But I tell you what, Dale, I cannot wait to give my uncle some of this tincture. My dad isn't as big of a spicy fan as he leads on. He totally does it for the views, I think. But he's not scared. He's definitely not scared. Like he will do it. He will do it. He's no slouch, but he doesn't get sick kicks like Johnny and I do. I think for him, it's I think that the genetics missed him on the crazy, but that's okay. That's okay. More for Uncle Johnny and I, right? I will definitely. I would like to do a video where all three of us try the tincture that Dale sent us. That would be. I was gonna say a word I shouldn't say. That would be awesome, though. That would be freaking cool. So That's my goal. But I don't know how long it's going to take Johnny to write the book. I don't know the next time that all three of us are going to be together. But the next time I see them, each of them, I will be promoting and I will be promoting your stuff for sure, for sure. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's three bottles, so we should all do the deal together, right? We could all drop simultaneously. That would be pretty cool. Got to take my mom to the eye doctor, so everyone have a blessed day. Love to all, and Johnny after that warthog won't even be hot. Lol. Yeah, I hear those are hot. I hear those are hot friggin' peppers. Showbiz is addictive, says Deaudrey. It gets in your blood, and the feeling of winning over an audience is amazing. Is that what I'm experiencing? Is that what that is? I I really do enjoy connecting with you all. I really do enjoy making an impact. Um, and yeah, I guess it is pretty cool to win over an audience. It feels egotistical to say that I've won over an audience. I guess that was my hang up there. It feels non humble, does not feel humble. I'm never trying that warthog. I'm gonna have to go watch that video. From what I understand, it's pretty brutal. I could definitely be talked into it, but I'm definitely not ready. The tincture could be the Alzheimer's cure, says Jill. If only, if only, if only. I remember when I was a kid, I used to imagine that THC was the cure for cancer. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's not true, but public speaking can be something that really ants in the mind. We feel a big crowd is intimidating, but it's really a small crowd plus their friends and friends' friends. Passion behind the message helps. Absolutely. I try to do everything I do passionately, and the feeling of going out in front of a big crowd is something that I've learned to like. That's something from way back in the day when I was actually living with my dad. Um, Always pushing the comfort zone boundaries. Always, if I was getting a little uncomfortable, I just needed to step up and like speak my truth, and it was going to be just all right. So, definitely something that I've worked on a lot. And with the fire dancing, that definitely has reinforced it in an entirely different way. 100%. It's still freaky. It's still 100% freaky. But I still have to force myself to like make eye contact. I still have to force myself to be like a part of and not like in my own bubble. But it is a process now. It is something that I do every time. It is something that happens every time. So I'm quite used to it. Dale, you ate 5 chocolate primatalis this morning? Holy crap. Your tolerance is through the roof, brother. Do you digest them, Dale? Kind of a personal question. You don't have to answer. Have a great day, Dale. We'll see you tomorrow, all right? He is a riot. I love Dale. Dale's pretty cool. The passion for the peppers just bleeds through the screen. Like I can tell this guy is so into peppers. It's impressive. I want to hang out with the guy and eat some peppers. I bet you we'd both be ear to ear grinning, just burning up, dude. Crying probably for sure. Yeah, Dale's the tits, man. I like Dale. Yeah, I'm bored too, Scooby. We should talk about something exciting. Um, Love to you, man. We'll see you tomorrow, all right? Dude, 5 chocolate primos? I've never had a chocolate primo. I hear they're I was gonna say another thing I shouldn't say. I hear they are tough. Man, my mouth wants to say foul things today. Helena asks, what's the difference between cannabis and hemp? In Australia, CBD gummies from hemp are our only option. Interesting. So, the difference between cannabis and hemp is slightly complicated because we're talking about genus of plants. But um, cannabis let's make sure I'm checking my facts here. Cannabis comes from, like, cannabis and hemp refer to the same plant, but generally hemp is not psychoactive. Hemp is used for like making fibrous materials like rope. And I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure like the male versus the female plant of cannabis. The female plant has flowers and buds, but the male plant is a hemp plant. But I might be wrong. I might be wrong on that. But hemp is textily stronger than rope in every way. The difference between cannabis and hemp is probably male to female. If we're talking about country law, it's probably also the content of THC. So CBD gummies from hemp, as long as they've got the CBD in them, it doesn't matter, right? That's the same chemical that treats the pain. It should be just fine. But the difference is that it's kind of a hard question. But hemp is used to make rope and whatnot. When people say hemp, they're not referring to a weed plant that you can smoke. When people say hemp, they're referring to the fibrous material of the plant. Um, and when people say cannabis, they're generally referring to the weed plant itself, which they can be the same thing, right? A cannabis plant is a hemp plant, but cannabis refers to generally psychoactive buds, and hemp refers to, and this might just be a male versus female thing. I've smoked male buds, um, but technically that's a hermaphrodite plant, right? Because if it's budding, it's also a female. Um, Good question. The language that people use to describe drugs often is not very clear. So this is a great question. Interested in it for pain and sleep, but we'll have to have a lot of good research to bring when I ask my neuro. Definitely, 100%. I would look into CBD derived from hemp plants versus CBD derived from regular weed plants. I don't know if there's even a difference, but I would start there, right? Is there a difference between, from a hemp plant and from not? And then if there's no difference, right, if it's just different amounts or whatever, that's fine. Then I don't know. Yeah, you know what to do. I have faith. It's not male versus female, says Scoob. Well, then what is it, Scoob? Hemp is a different cannabis altogether. Hemp has no THC, also is a big factor. Thank you, Scooby, for checking me. This is something I should know quite a bit about, but that's so funny, Scooby. Scooby says there is a difference and it's important if you want to be high or if you want clothes. Yeah, hemp's really good for you as well, as far as eating the seeds. Wow, I'm humbled by the information that I don't have. Nicola E says an acre of hemp grows 4 times as much paper than an acre of trees, according to Cypress Hill. Did you also know that the root structure of the hemp and cannabis plants are like 2 or 3 times as dense as any other plant of its size? So they could single-handedly like do away with erosion on hillsides. Um, pretty pretty interesting structured plant. Yeah, Helena. I definitely have um, smoked quite a bit of cannabis while on an assortment of different ADHD and other medications, and it wasn't very comfortable. They interacted in strange and unpredictable ways. So I would, and again, just to be clear, just for clarification's sake, I'm talking about smoking psychoactive reefer, right? We're not talking about CBD. We're not talking about what you're talking about, right? But I do know that the THC interacts weirdly with other stuff. It just they I wouldn't say it doesn't play nice with others, but it likes to play strange games. Not quite hopscotch, um, not quite monkey bars. But that being said, I definitely would watch like the possible interactions. As far as CBD goes, it shouldn't have any effect on your mind at all. So it shouldn't have any interactions, but it doesn't hurt to do research. It doesn't hurt to ask the doc. I imagine the doctor doesn't have a whole lot of experience, but I have been surprised many times before. I have been wrong many times. Um, so maybe the doctor does know a bunch, but I definitely would take the burden of research upon myself if I were in your shoes, especially if I yeah, I think the responsibility would be mine to bring to the doctor, especially because weed's like an alternative medicine in most places. At least it's considered to be, right? I'm gonna actually be making cannabis canes, says Scooby. You mean like a candy cane, but out of cannabis? Yeah, Mock says I use hemp seeds and flour to raise the protein content of food, and it's legal here, in contrast to THC. We have a long tradition of sailing and using up everything of the plant. I love this concept. Like when if you were a hunter to use up every part of the animal, like that kind of thing, I'm like really super duper into that. And also like it's such a superior material to rope and we don't have to cut down these beautiful 100-year old 200 300-year old trees to make paper out of it and rope and stuff. So that's something if I could go back in time and change one thing, I think it's hard to say that I would change the rope hemp dilemma because there's so many big crazy things you could change, but I think I would. I think I would. Yeah, Scooby, that's right. Scooby says I must limit my THC use to little or too much, or too much, it actually makes my bipolar act up. Then it has strange interactions with the mind, I have to say. Especially if it's not like if you're not an all the time smoker, if you well, if you're not smoking to get normal, right? If you're actually getting high when you smoke, it can definitely have lots of interactions with your mind and with any medications that you may be on. Definitely not the most balanced way for me to live, at least in the past. It definitely will mellow me out, but like then I'm on this like there's this wave that is how I'm feeling and like how my focus is. It relates to a lot of things. But when I'm smoking pot on a regular basis, there's like two waves happening now. Um, so sometimes it's hard to crest them both at the same time, if that makes sense. Sometimes I might be really high over here, but like really low on one of the other waves, so that this high doesn't matter. Like it's yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but not the most balanced way for me to live. Smoking pot, that is. Don't be sorry, Candy. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't read everything. Oh, what do you get when you have three Scovilles in a room? Awesome. What do we get? What about the first one, Rick? Can't decide what the number one thing is, which is fine, which is fine. No pressure. I'm just so curious now. You've got me on a cliffhanger. Yeah, if I could change three things, wow, it's hard. About my own life, that's even harder. Because, like, that means that I would have to live with my life not being how it is now. Like, I would have to deal with whatever I changed would change what today is like, you know? I hear you, Rick. I hear you, brother. I'm glad you're here, dude. I remember when we first met, I don't know if we butted heads. I was butting a head against a wall a little bit, and I had to like calm myself down. And I've come around, and I'm a big fan of you, Rick. I'm glad that I worked on my patience because I don't know, can't even remember what was bugging me, but um, yeah, dude, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Brianna Miller asks, "How do you deal with the depression anxiety?" I've been struggling with that a lot lately. It's debilitating. Everything is gray and scary. I've been sleeping too much. When I don't want to get out of bed, when I am staying in bed, when there's like no reason for me to get out of bed, I just don't feel like it. That's like a sign that I'm like really far down the depression rabbit hole. If I get to that point, alarm bells start going off. Like what happens next is bad for me. Um, so that being said, didn't we talk about you not having hobbies yesterday, Brianna? I hate to be uh, the broken record, but we got to find something to help you love your life again. We've got to find something that you can spend your time doing that will recharge your batteries, that will kind of turn your light bulb on, you know? And like that's not enough all by itself, but it's a huge deal. And when I am feeling depressed and anxious, there's usually a reason. There's usually something I haven't taken care of. There's usually a ball that I'm dropping, some sort of slack that I need to pick up, um, or like I'm not getting my proper necessaries, my nutrition, my sleep, and what's the third one? Somebody help me. I know what it is. There's something else that's very necessary: sleep, nutrition, exercise. um, and you need like personal time and space as well. You can't spend your time. I don't know if you have an. I think I'm pretty sure you have a significant other. You can't spend all your time with your partner. You need Brianna time as well. Um, so I guess that's four things. You need rest, relaxation. Wait, yeah, rest, relaxation, food, and sleep. You need the proper four there. And then if you have like a hobby to do fun things, it's going to really help. What you're dealing with is a broken reward system of your brain. I would imagine, I assume, right? So like my brain's not telling me this feels good when it should. My brain's not telling me this feels bad when it should. It's just telling me that this sucks all the time, right? Right? So we have to retrain the way that system works, um, by trying to stimulate it. So I don't know, do something that you've never done before is my first. Well, it's not my, I've just given a bunch of suggestions, but I think if you were to take one thing out of all of this, do something that you've never done before. Do something novel. Maybe it sounds a little scary, right? Jumping out of a plane. I'm not saying you should go do that. That's something I've never done before. I've always wanted to, but now that it's like a real possibility, I'm like, I think I'm good. But if I were to do that, that would be very novel, right? Very new, very exciting. When you do something for the first time, what happens in your brain is magic. It will drop endorphins on your little brainstem, and your brain will remember. Okay, this is great. We're going to remember this for next time, and that's part of how our happiness system works. So if you're being if you're experiencing depression and anxiety, which we all do, um, it's directly tied to that part of your brain. So I would try to stimulate that part. I would try to whatever part of your brain like says I'm happy. I would try to like poke that sucker, be like, hey, are you happy? You know, something to that effect. I hope that helps, Brianna. What do you think? Sometimes I think I ramble and monologue a little bit because I'm not sure if I've covered all my bases, but I just end up repeating myself. So um, let me know what you think. Yeah, sometimes get dressed up too. I love doing this. This makes me feel good. Yeah, hairbrush, having a warm shower, feeling fresh truly can shift the day. Sometimes when the boat's coming up and for some reason I'm feeling off, I'll jump in the shower, and when I get out, I'll feel amazing again. So that's one of the hacks that I use before the boat sometimes. I might have missed what you had to say, Brianna. I'm going to scroll up just to make sure I didn't miss you. Alina, thank you so much. Thank you, Captain and crew, for the info. I hope it helps. Let us know what happens. Let us know what you find. And most of all, I'm really curious to know what your neurosurgeon says or your brain doctor. Let me know. But please, please, please. Flick Fox says, I would have saved all the money I spent on drugs and traveled the world helping people. Wow, me too. What a great idea. But then I wouldn't know everything I know now, which I think makes me a better person. So I don't know. It's hard to make that trade. It's hard to trade the present moment for a fantasy, right? Something that we haven't actually experienced to be real, something that we're just imagining. It's very hard to trade something real for something imaginary, I have to say. Yeah, hydration I put in the nutrition folder. Nutrition, sleep, recharging your batteries, so that's relaxation. And then, man, now I'm forgetting again. Debbie P, good morning. Tribe Called Duff, hello, hello. Monk Searcher, I saw you earlier. I don't know why I didn't say hello. Monk, monk, monk. Well, my dad says it, it's cooler. Puka Vista says, my dad was a paratrooper. I, however, am afraid of heights after a bad fall when I was 19. It's completely normal. One of the most common fears, I have to say. I was afraid of heights, and I guess I still am kind of, but I constantly strive to conquer it. When I was doing stagehand work, I would try to do the uh, the rigging stuff as much as possible. Thanks, Sarah. I aspire to just scream into a microphone at crowds of adoring fans. One day. One day. Cologne. Yeah, no sweat, no sweat, Helena. No rush either. But, I do like to know how the crew's doing, especially when we talk about stuff, and I like to know how it pans out and stuff. Because it helps me do better. I'm also curious and I care. And it also makes me feel really good when it does pan out. It's like, heck yeah, we did that. Ah, So, yeah, absolutely. An adult coloring book sounds fun. You guys are a crowd, and I do have you guys. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not attempting to take away anything from y'all. Y'all are the best. Y'all are the best crew a captain could friggin' ask for, and I'm so humbled and grateful that every morning you want to hang out with me. It's pretty cool. Um, I'm super duper humbled by it. Absolutely, Brianna. I think I know all this, but it's a good reminder. It's just a matter of pushing myself to do those things. It's just hard when I get so low. It feels like I'm moving through molasses. I was about to say, when you get that low, it's like you're in the pool trying to run. You know, uh, it's just not working. I'm so slow. What's all this resistance? Um, but that's what depression feels like. It's like a mire of the mind. Um, you're falling into quicksand in your brain. And I can just relate so hard. So yeah, I often will get stuck thinking about what I should be doing, could be doing, would be doing. Oh, we're bringing it back full circle. Um, Instead of just doing it, especially when I'm feeling so low, especially when I'm in a depressive, anxious phase, right? Um, and sometimes the only way to break out of it is to literally stand up and go do those dishes or go do whatever it is that I need to be doing, right? Um, Sometimes, like, even if like I'm feeling so low, like that the act of standing up and going to do it's going to make me cry. Like I have to take some action, otherwise no action will be taken. Like at some point, some action has to be taken, and I don't know. Yeah, it's we all have our own process and our own pace and whatever, but I'm you're gonna find the strength to push out of that. I know it. Sarah Browett says quality sleep, nutrition, exercise, connection. If it feels too big, start small. Step out a little more. Make the decision for you. I am worthy. Good things. Then step out on the day as best you can. Absolutely. Suiting up and showing up for life. That's what we call this right here. Little positive self talk. I am worthy of good things. I deserve the world. I want the world, Chico, and everything in it. Although that's Scarface probably isn't the mentality we're going for here. It's at this time I usually just like the chat has evolved into conversations and everyone's talking, we're all talking together, and it's usually about this time that I start reading and just get lost in everything that's being said, which is good. That means I'm doing my job properly. Very thought provoking. Um, Everybody's absorbing the information. This is good. This is really good. This is the kind of morning boat I aspire to have. You guys want to see the back of my robe while I'm thinking about it? There's too many pieces of clothing on. I'm getting a wedgie, and when I fix it, it like pulls my robe into my butt. What the heck? Take it off. Take it off. I don't know if YouTube would appreciate a strip tease, Shannon. You can call me whatever you'd like, Nicola, as long as I know you're talking to me. I don't know how well I will respond to Joseph. Whoa, what happened to those? Okay, there. You went and watched some Captain Planet, Helena. Now I'm gonna have to go do so. I did watch a little bit. Can't remember what I was watching. It was most likely one of my animes, but I did not go and watch Courage the Cowardly Dog or Sonic the Hedgehog or wow, those are two very different time frame cartoons. Ninja Turtles. I didn't watch anything. That's so funny, Brianna. You remember that? I forgot that that was the deal. I was a little bit in a tiff about the capital letters, but who cares, man? Whatever. Who cares? I don't know. There was a transition that was happening for sure within me. Um, a lot of the things that I would get a little bent out of shape about back then literally had no bearing on anything important. Like that, for example. Who cares if Rick's using? I guess I just felt like he was yelling all the time, but like that's my problem. What am I doing over here trying to tell someone else? You know? Anyways, thanks for reminding me of that. I appreciate that. Thanks, Scoob. Yeah, the new Ninja Turtles are definitely not the old Ninja Turtles. And the old Ninja Turtles were something else. Remember the like they had like the pink brain bad guy that would like operate like a robot suit? You guys remember that guy? That guy was weird. I love this song. I can play the intro on the guitar. Sarah Browett says, too thought provoking. I need to head to bed. Take care, all. Thanks for your heart spanks. Ones for all who needs today. Absolutely. I hope you have a great night. I often find it difficult to sleep after churning up an idea storm in my head. So maybe a little bit of journaling will help you turn that boat around. Either way, super stoked you were here, Sarah. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. In Rick, in hindsight, I figured, I just felt like a jerk. So I'm glad that we moved past all of that. I'm glad you still hang out. I'm glad I didn't run you off. Because I have to say I'm a big fan, dude. I'm glad. Polar Opposites is a hilarious cartoon made by the same guys that make Rick and Morty. What was the drama with all that? Did the guy that created Rick and Morty do some unspeakable things? I feel like he was canceled for like grooming young people or something. I'm not sure, which is rough because I really like that cartoon, and that's the reason why he's not on the show anymore. The new seasons have someone else doing the voices. I don't know if you guys can tell. I can. It's like Scooby Doo. I could after they got a new voice for Scooby and Shaggy. It was hard for me to continue watching those episodes. He was accused of touching kids. Well, we're not really into that. But so that guy made Polar Opposites as well. And Polar Opposites is about aliens that live. It's kind of like American Dad, except everyone's an alien in the family. Reminds me a lot of like American Dad's style of comedy, but the whole family's aliens, not CIA. PDF file allegations. That is a really funny way to say that. I know exactly what you're trying to say. That's pretty hilarious. Aaron Cooper says, I think the charges were dropped. Well, thankfully. I mean, I don't know. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean he's innocent. I hope he's innocent. I hope that's not the truth. You know what I mean? It's never a good truth to be true. Bob's Burgers is pretty friggin' legit. I'm a big fan. That dry comedy, that like super, I don't know, I guess it's like adult humor. I think it's hilarious though. Your test will become your testimony. I love that. I love that, Mary. Well, hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It certainly makes a difference. I might call it. I think that's a fair place to call it. I'm having lots of thoughts now. Yeah, that's I have that effect too. Brianna says I love King of the Hill. Took me a while to fall in love with it because it's so dry. I have to like learn to love those kinds of that kind of comedy, but I do end up loving it. Um, Archer is one that I had to give a second try. I didn't like it at first, but then I came back. I'm a pretty big fan now. Do you want ants? Because this is how you get ants. All right, guys. Hit me in the comment section. Email me at sober@myyahoo.com. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. You guys are the best. Today is Tuesday, 27th. Let's go out there and get it. Let's make today great. And remember, you're not alone. No matter what struggles you're experiencing, you're not alone. There's someone out there that is also struggling. And I know that doesn't necessarily make you feel better, but should be a small consolation. Anyways, much love. Captain Calhoun out. Lana, what? Danger zone. You guys have a great day, okay? Much love.